So we have gotten our, I guess like it's phase 6. It's funny because on their roadmap of alpha, they only laid out 5 total phases. So this is kind of like, I don't want to call it a bonus phase, but I didn't expect this. We're seeing a couple of changes for a lot of the different classes and tanks. So in this video, I'm going to attempt to go over those changes based on Datamined text from WoWhead. If you're interested in going through this yourself, I'm going to have it linked in the description below. We will talk about pretty much just the tank specs. I don't believe there was much going on between like DK, Demon Hunter, Monk got some adjustments. There were some changes to Paladin, which is really funny because I just posted a video about Paladin. So a little unfortunate. I'll go through the kind of the changes and I'll also showcase them on Alpha as well. And then finally, Warrior also, again, got some changes. So we'll talk about all of this here. Feel free to use the timeline down below to like skip around and shit. So, all right, let's get into it. So we're going to start with the Monk because it is in descending order. It is kind of the first one that is coming up. So there is this change to Nizao. Now, there was no major text changes here, so I don't know why this is in the note. The changes that are going to happen, though, are reflected in the hero talents, which have direct correlation to the cooldown. So first things first, efficient training has been changed. This now reduces the cooldown of Nizao just by a flat static amount. So if we come into our talent tree in game, it is now, instead of being contingent on spending energy, it was every 50 energy would reduce his cooldown by 1 second. It is just now a flat 25 seconds. Depending on the player, this could be a buff or a nerf, depending. If you were someone who was really tuned in with their energy during lust windows, any kind of haste, PI, etc., you would obviously benefit from this. The average player, or even outside of those cooldowns, you may or may not be getting as much cooldown reduction. So this turns it from a 2-minute cooldown to a 1.6. So kind of awkward, but it is a flat 25 seconds off. It should line it up with like most 1.5-minute trinkets or 30-second to a minute cooldowns. So all in all, pretty good. Though I will say that the Black Ox is kind of its own thing. You don't really need to pair it with any kind of cooldown. During this window, your goal is just to simply try to expel as many flurry strikes as possible. So that was the first major change. Now, they also reworked flurry strikes. So I'm not sure how I feel about this yet, but what it is doing is, instead of based on your attack power, it is now going to be a chance on your auto attacks to generate 1 to 2 flurry charges. When you cast Fist of Fury, oh, sorry, wrong one. When you cast Keg Smash, unleash all flurry charges, so this is still the same. The modifier, though, is no longer, again, based on attack power and versatility. It is simply auto attacks. This has a couple of different implications with your talents, as well as your potential preferred weapon choices. Where are the training dummies again? I may be lost. Hold on, I'll find it. Are they over here? There they are. All right, first things first. Attack speed is based on your main hand. So here I just generated 2. Here's 4. Here's 6. Here's 8. Here's 10. Bang, I can dispel all those or expel all those into a flurry strike. It seems like every single auto attack is 2 stacks. Now, I'm going to assume right away that's because I'm using a two-handed weapon. So let me swap over to dual wielding. If I can find weapons in my... I guess I can just do this, right? Do I have a 195 sword? 197? So that should be good. And then we'll get another 197 sword equipped. Oh, that was the same one. Hold on. I have a fist weapon and I have a one-handed axe, so that should be fine. So now I'm dual wielding. And now, as you can see, my auto attacks... Let's see, I'm gonna get rid of those 10. We got 2. We got 3. We have 4. We have 5, 6. This evoker's fucking annoying. Oh, it's saying, yo, what up, boy? Kalamazi's here. Oh shit, it's like an actual party. Heavyweight Golem, I don't... Is it this one? That's fine. Okay, we'll do this. So ultimately, my concern is that it's going to favor dual wielding over using a polearm. That isn't necessarily a problem, but it is something to now keep in mind. It seems like there is an inconsistency with one-handed weapons to give either 1 or 2 stacks, but single wielding a polearm tends to give 2 stacks every time, from just this quick observation. So I just went from 6 to 8 right away. Oh, also flurry strikes can now go above 10. Huh. Holy shit. Oh my lord. Holy shit, dude. I mean, there's no world where you don't keg smash frequently enough where you can accumulate that many charges. But holy shit, dude. You could just like AFK simulator and then just go kill someone. Don't tell like Rextroy that. He might just abuse the shit out of that. I wonder how high they can stack. I'm not gonna test that in this video. That'd be wild. So it looks like it no longer is a 10 stack, but the other thing I wanted to mention, forgot to mention this, is that this seems to now kind of heavily incentivize you should be using Swift as a coursing river. This is a new talent that we have access to. I haven't talked about it much because I've been waiting to see the direction that the class takes, especially if they end up changing something like Press the Advantage. But basically, if you drink from a brew, you have 10% faster attack speed for 15 seconds. This is basically a permanent buff for your auto attack speed because you're going to be drinking brews regularly. On top of that, it could start to incentivize haste depending if there's a specific breakpoint for your attacks to be. Not quite sure yet, but if we swap to Swift as a coursing river and I then pop Celestial Brew here, you're going to see I now have this buff. Did I not gain it? Drinking a brew. Is it a chance? No, it should just be... Am I crazy? Is it just not working? This could be a... It could be a bug. I don't see it as a buff. So anyways, I guess regardless, point being is that you might be now incentivized to take this more than you would beforehand. There's also the potential where now you could start to play Press the Advantage. I don't think it really is synergy with the way that Flurry Strikes has been reworked, but they'd have to change Press the Advantage, I think, to be not just main hand, but any attacks for this to be competitive. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. The last thing that they changed is 1 versus many. Auto attack critical strikes generate double the amount of flurry strike charges. Oh, so is that what's happening? Fist of Fury damage increased by 20 and 35. This is the same, so it looks like it's critical strike's going to be just as important as it always has been. That would make sense because I was like, it seems like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess it's a chance. 7. I'm trying to see if I get a crit. My crit's pretty low. 4. So one melee crit didn't give me any, and then I started to crit to get 2. What does that mean for one-handed, two-handed weapons then? I'm gonna put these in a safer spot. It's hard to tell. It's not hard to tell. I clearly, every time I successfully auto attack, I'm gaining 2. And then once I crit, it should jump up. Actually, no, I didn't gain it there. Oh, it caps at 30. Okay, we found the cap. Oh my god. I guess it doesn't matter that I'm staring at this. That damage goes crazy. Oh my god. It just doesn't stop. Yeah, so the critical strikes then are putting me up to... They're putting me up 4. I'm not sure how I feel about this change. Because I don't like things based on auto attacks. I don't know why. I don't like the gameplay philosophy of wiring melee uptime. I know that sounds weird being a tank and being in melee, but just not a fan. My initial kind of knee-jerk reaction is like, this is not super great, but I'd be interested to see what the math ends up being, whether we prefer dual wielding or like polearm wielding. But it seems like, I don't know, from like the chance on crit too, so your auto attacks will always, it seems like it always has a chance to give you flurry strikes when you're polearm wielding, and then critical strikes just giving you 4 stacks right here. I just got 4 stacks of it. Seems like polearm still might be better, so kind of throw all that out the window. All in all, I think it's like an okay change. I think flurry strikes going above 10 makes it a little bit more enticing. If it wasn't that, it'd be kind of whatever. But in a more practical setting, like I'm keg smashing here at 4 stacks. I'm at 2 stacks. I'm going to keg smash again. I feel like in a practical setting, you're never really going above 4. Like even right now, I'm at 2. I just crit, I guess, when I'm at 6, but I'm discharging 6. And I'm keg smashing again at 4. So like, this is why I don't like it, is because this is like a pretty massive nerf to our current flurry strike damage because we're never really going above 4. And I'm going to go to 6 here. I'm going to keg smash again. This is a nerf. Okay, there's a world where I get to 8s, but it's kind of deep within the rotation. But now I'm only at 2 and I'm going to keg smash again. Yeah, this is not a good change. It's a nerf, so they have to... I don't even know what they can do. Like, buff... They'd have to buff Flurry Strike damage. Or buff other things in our kit, because... You're never going above... Realistically, you're never going above 8 stacks. And now it's going to be even worse if you're ever in a situation where you're not in melee range on a fight or in a dungeon. You're kiting, you're going from pack to pack. You're not accumulating those charges when you deal damage. So you have to be in melee range. Obviously, like, this isn't working. It's going to, like, pseudo incentivize haste, but it's like, this is all terrible. So they also... I can sit here all day and just complain, but I'm not going to. I think it's an interesting direction. We'll have to see what it looks like in Mythic Plus when we eventually get testing on it. They also nerfed Fatal Touch. It no longer increases your damage done by 5%. All it does is it reduces the cooldown by 90 seconds. So these changes to Brewmaster are disappointing, I think, at best. So yeah, that's what's going on with Brewmaster. I do wonder if there's a world where this will be better. Let me just check. So I'm at 3 there. 3 again. 5. Dual wielding might be better. It's by the time yeah, dual wielding might be better. I was gonna wait for the nerds to fucking try to figure this out, but maybe I don't need the nerds. We need them, realistically. No, I mean I think I got lucky on that kind of set back to back. It'll all be based on critical strike rating as well. Right now my crit is only 17%. That's obviously a pretty major factor. I'm consistently getting to higher stacks dual wielding. What's dealing volcanic damage? Bombardment. Oh, it's from the evoker. So yeah, overall, I think this is a nerf. We'll have to see. Yeah, not a fan. Moving on, we have Protection Paladin. There is a little bit of tuning going on, but it looks like a lot of what they've added is some new... Yeah, let's jump over and talk about Paladin, because there's some good stuff going on here, I think. Logging on to our boy Cow. All right, so first things first, Judgment causes its primary target successful melee attack against you to grant physical absorb shield for 20% of the damage dealt, limit 1. This is a talent called Adjudication. I don't know where this is. Oh, it's a choice node with sweeping verdict. Maybe we'll just do this. It's odd because it looks like they removed Grand Crusader, or not Grand Crusader, but Inspiring Vanguard. This is now located here. This is where Grand Crusade always has been, but they moved Valiant Crusade up. It used to be down here where Hand of Protector was. Hand of Protector was over here where Sanctuary was, and Sanctuary was down here where we have Instrument of the Divine, which is a new talent that they've recently added. They also gave us magical damage reduction. Instead of playing Redoubt, we can also play Imbued Shield, giving us extra magic DR. Looks like Inner Light was also removed, replaced by Imbued Shield. This is fine. Inspiring Vanguard, like I just said, has been removed from talents to uncategorized, so it is still in the game, but it's not in the game, basically. And then we have Instrument of the Divine. Shield of Righteous consumes up to 2 more Holy Power to deal 50% or more damage for each Holy Power consumed. It's pretty big. This will have better synergy with our Glory of the Vanguard. We have a tendency to overcap Holy Power in some cases, and so this should help alleviate some of that pain. Redoubt, armor granted by Shield of Righteous is increased up to 50% based on your missing health. It was that it increased your strength and stamina, stacking up to 3. So could be a small nerf, but the armor increase could be helpful for like just obviously melee swings. Resolute Defender has also been removed. What it did is it made Ardent Defender last for additional seconds, 2 and 4, I think, for rank 1 and rank 2. This has been removed and replaced with Zealot's Paragon, which I believe is a talent we used to have in our class tree. It's a 2-point node, and Hammer of Wrath and Judgment deal additional damage, and they extend wings by 1 second. So instead of playing with, cooldown reduction like we have been up to this point through like the War Within and whatnot, you are now going to have an extension instead, which it's fine. It incentivizes, I think, degenerate behavior specifically in your wings window. So my overarching problem with that is that once you're in wings, you're going to be incentivized to spam Judgment as often as possible, which sometimes is the case, but then will feel bad when you need to use other spells. Let's say you need to Hand of Sack or lay on hand someone. Let's say you need to Avenger Shield to silence a caster. That's why I don't like extension behavior. I'd rather have cooldown reductions by spending resource, similar to Anger Management, obviously with how Righteous Protector used to work. Same with Resolute Defender. Those two talents I thought were fun to play with. And so when you go into a pull and you pop wings, you're now only ever going to want to make sure you're hitting Judgment. And with how the procs work with Crusader's Judgment, as well as the new kind of talent tree with Lightsmith, causing your Holy Bulwark absorbs and Sacred Weapon damage to also have a chance to proc Grand Crusade, it is going to become just like a spam Judgment window, which on paper to me isn't fun. Who knows how it's going to play in practice, but that's just kind of my first initial impression. So yeah, that is that. When it comes to general spells, they have I'm trying to like see what they've adjusted anything. That seems to be pretty much it for Paladin. If I missed anything, let me know, but those are kind of the major changes. I don't think it's like a total disregard for my last video that I literally published probably just before this one, but do keep in mind that Paladin has been kind of significantly bugged and felt underworked up to this point, so these changes I think might help. Alright, so unlike Protection Paladin, which I put out a video on just a little bit ago, I haven't done the Prot Warrior one yet, and I might have to redo it, but we've seen a couple of changes, which I complained about in the video, but we're seeing some of them being addressed here. So first things first, Last Stand's cooldown is reduced by 60 seconds, which is fine, and it grants Shield Wall for 4 seconds when it's triggered. So my major complaint before is that Bolster, which also has changed positions, was it didn't make sense to give you Shield Block because that isn't going to help prevent you from dying. Was kind of like my biggest grievance with it, is that gaining shield block, which you may already have active anyways, won't prevent you from dying. And so the shield wall at least gives you the 40% DR. It's still a long cooldown in my opinion. Bolster on live brings Last Stand from 3 to 2 minutes and it's an on use. This is a 4-minute cooldown that's passive that is now going to be brought down to 3 minutes that only gives you shield wall for 4 seconds. That compared to something like Battle Scar Veteran, I can't see a world where you play Last Stand, Bolster, and War Scarred Veteran. Beyond that, you have to be playing Last Stand to take this talent, which is weird because if you're not playing it and you select it, there's nothing preventing you from playing this. And not that all of you guys are super smart. You would never make the mistake of playing a talent while not playing the talent that it's tied to, but you can talent into this without talenting into Last Stand, which makes it doesn't work. It can't work anymore. So like, it's such a weird point. Like, I don't think any talent tree has this in existence besides like hero talents. Some hero talents have this kind of thing where you have to be playing a specific talent to utilize that talent. For example, Shockwave. If you decide not to play Shockwave, the thing that's tied to Shockwave will like red out. And it's like, hey, warning, you are playing a thing that requires this talent and you're not playing it. So they need to at least do that with Bolster. Make it red if you're not playing Last Stand. Just so people know. That's all I'm saying. So moving on, we saw some slight talent shifts, which nothing too crazy. So first things first, Heavy-handed has been shifted over. I believe it was down here where Massacre was. Massacre was where Bolster was, and Tough as Nails is where Heavy Hand is now. So Execute is going to cleave with Heavy Hand, and then Tough as Nails has just been moved up. So when you do block an attack, you're going to reflect. I guess not reflect, but it's like Thorns damage basically, back to the attacker, and it generates high threat. I like talents like this. I just wish they were a little bit more universal. You see the same thing with Retaliation on Vengeance Demon Hunter, and obviously Tough as Nails. I wish all tanks had some type of thing where they have Thorns that generates high threat, because I think it would help the whole threat metagame so much more. We're seeing some slight changes as well to some hero talents. I don't know if this, actually it's just Slayer, never mind. In general, Deep Wounds has been removed. So that's that flag. Deep Wound still exists in the game from Execute as well as from Decimator. Whoa. Okay. What the fuck? Dude, Warriors got a fucking silence. Heroic Throw now silences non-player targets for 3 seconds. This can only occur every 15 seconds. You have a range silence. Hold on. I gotta test this. Holy shit. Dude, Prot Warrior glow up. Let's go. I'm here for it. So what do I need to do to test this? Let's actually go into a follower dungeon. I know Murder Row has a ton of casters in it. We're gonna try. Dude, what the fuck? When I first read this, so sorry, I guess I should elaborate. So they updated Javelineer. where Storm Bolt, Shattering Throw, Wrecking Throw, and Champion Spear now applies hamstring to all targets, reducing their movement speed. And then they have this green text. Heroic Throw silences non-player targets for 3 seconds. This can only occur every 15 seconds. So you have a second way to interrupt. One from melee being Pummel. Actually 3, technically. You also have Disrupting Shout, which is an AoE silence tied to Challenger Shouts. And then you have, or Challenging Shout, I should say. And on a 1.5-minute cooldown, and then now you also have a range kick. That is fucking wild. Holy fuck. Let me interrogate. I'll charge in here. Make sure I have threat. We'll pull this guy. Oh, yeah, it works. Okay, that's good. It's good to know. So my Heroic Throw is still on cooldown. But if I target this mage over here, and she starts casting a Heroic Throw, it didn't work. Oh, wait, there it did. Okay. It's because it doesn't have a cooldown. Is there a debuff? Oh, okay, there's debuff track. You have to track debuffs to be able to track your javelin, your kick, though. That doesn't seem very good, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm gonna wait till they cast a second thing. I throw this, it silences them. Okay, cool. I think it's cool. I think it being tied to a debuff, I mean, it makes sense, right? They wouldn't tie it to a buff. I think Heroic Throw, though, should have a cooldown if it silences an enemy. Like, it puts it on cooldown for 15 seconds. I think that would make a little bit more sense. Maybe, I don't know. From an information point of view, I think this is not good to have it as a debuff. I guess that's what I'm just trying to say. All right. All right, cool. So what else has changed? So we also are seeing small minor verbiage change to Last Stand. That's fine. Rallying Cry now grants 50% more health when not in raid. So in raid, it's obviously a 10% max health increase. Fucking terrible. But it's now going to be a 20% health increase. So wait, 20%, 17, 15. So it's now a 15% health increase? Yeah, that would make sense. My brain can't do fucking math. So it goes from a 10% health increase to a 15, and then the extra 2% from Battlefield Commander is added after the fact. So it isn't going, because it would be 18 if Battlefield Commander happened after the fact, but it doesn't. So kind of unlucky. And that should be it. Those are all the changes. Let's see. Did I miss anything? I'm going to just double check really quick. So there's Paladin. I believe I touched on everything there. Talked about Brewmaster already. DK isn't seeing any changes to Blood. And Demon Hunter is only getting Devourer changes in this build. And nothing else. Am I crazy? Oh, Druid. Druid isn't even being noted at all here. Like, Druid has literally nothing. So yeah, those are all the changes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And that made sense. I'm going to probably end up redoing... So I recorded my Warrior and Guardian Druid Alpha feedback / recap video. But with the Warrior changes here, I'll probably have to record that one. The Druid one obviously won't change. I think the Paladin was the biggest one that was affected. Because funnily enough, I just put it out and then fucking they push a build. Great. W. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.